Hey guys, let's go over using animBot's tweener in a little bit more detail. So the tweener, we're talking about these yellow sliders down here. Now I currently have 2 of them on my toolbar. Remember, you can go to your workspace and you can edit and modify your existing workspace. To avoid any confusion, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the ease in, ease out sliders. So we're focusing on the yellow tweener sliders. Now there's lots of different options in here. These 2 are the ones that I use the most frequently. This particular tweener is very useful when we're blocking our shot out using the global control to make big broad movement. With that in mind, let me just show you what the difference between these 2 are. Here I blocked out our character running forward. His left back foot here are slipping a little bit because the global control is also moving. I'll come down here to our character selection sets and I'm going to select the foot IK goal. If I frame it in the graph editor, go up to the Z translation forward, we want the foot, once it becomes planted, to not slip. In the cycle it wasn't slipping, right? It's done correctly down here, but because we have motion on the global control, the foot is slipping forward. So to fix that, I'm going to use the global tweener here. So I'm going to go to the next frame and I'm just going to hit this button here and it will match where the foot was at the last frame. So it starts becoming really stretched. Here, we're probably going to want to in between that. So I'm going to go a little bit towards where that was in world space. And now it's starting to get a little crazy. So I'm going to go in, adjust my Y translation to make this pose a little bit more believable. Let's see, is this one okay? This one we might want to change a little bit here. So we could adjust the Y translation a little bit, or I think I'm going to do a kind of split the difference between the 2 of them. Add a little bit of roll on the tip. What does that do? Yeah, that looks beautiful. There we go. So that's just an example of using the world space tweener versus using the regular tweener. It's very helpful in planting your feet as you are blocking your shot out using the global control. If you only have one of your yellow tweeners down here and you put your mouse over it, you'll get this little option here to have all of them available for you to use. So let's just go over a couple of different ones. This is our regular tweener. This is our world space tweener. Another one is this blend to buffer, which is super helpful if you are using buffer curves. You can turn them on over here in your graph editor. When you've got show buffer curves on, whenever you edit or make a change to your curve inside the graph editor, you'll see where you were. We wanted to blend back to what we had before, we can use this particular tweener and we can blend back towards our buffer curve. The next one is blend to default. And clearly that's going to blend to the default pose that you have created for your character. Right, so here we are, we're blending the entire character back to the default pose. And I'll undo that. Moving on with the next one is blend to ease. So it's super similar to what we get with our green sliders. We go back to this left foot, say we want to blend to ease. I could select all of these keys right here and I could blend towards the last pose, or we could blend to the next one. Right, so this is blend to ease. So we're creating an ease in, ease out with our curves. Blend to frame. So the blend to frame slider, you'll notice it has these little white dots here. We have blend to frame for local space and then we also have blend to frame for world space. Let's say we wanted this, I'll select all of the leg controls here on the left leg. It's like, I like this pose right here. So I'm going to hit this button right here. Oh, now it's at 10:19. I want that exact same pose here, right? So I'm gonna go for my blend to frame. I'm gonna hit the second button for 10:27. So now if I do my slider, whoops, just enter, Sometimes these are a little funky. So now if I blend my slider, right, and I go this way, it's going to blend towards 1019. And if I move it this way, it's going to blend towards 1027. Okay, so the next one is blend to neighbors. And again, you have local space and world space for blend to neighbors. Blend to neighbors, I use this one a lot. I've selected all the controls for the left leg, here to here. Now, if I go here and I just hit the tweener, see how it lowers it? That's not what we want. But if I use blend to neighbors, I'll use blend to neighbors world space because we're still animating things in world space because we have the global control moving here. So I'm going to go ahead and use the blend to neighbors world space one. But what it does is it remembers the pose that you're at currently. I can blend towards the last frame and I can blend towards the next one, but it's not going to forget where I was. If I just hit middle, it's going to stay where it is. So with the regular tweener and world space stuff, that's not what we want. But if we use the blend to neighbors slider instead, it's going to blend towards the two things, but it remembers the pose that you are currently in, so you can go back to it. We can collapse all of these now. There's a tiny little triangle here, which denotes where the tweener used to be. We can hit that, and they'll all go back up here. If you want to access or change any of the yellow sliders to different kinds, you can right-click on it, and you have an option of going to each one of these.